Hello there and welcome back to another video on my channel. How are we doing today? Today I thought I would run through with you my doctor's visit part 3 as there have been some developments. So let's go. So following on from my last video, I had just had my blood tests after my rheumatology appointment, and just to let you know, those results are back and I am completely fine, touch wood, all of my blood work is completely normal. So after I had those blood tests, not too long after that, I actually got my letter through for my second or follow-up rheumatology appointment, but that wasn't actually set till June next year. But I was told that on condition of the blood test results getting back to the doctor and the MRI scan results getting back to the doctor, that my appointment would be brought to an earlier date so I would see him earlier. So the next thing to check off the list was to have my first physiotherapy appointment, which my dad took me to. So the first appointment I had with her was that it was basically a consultation going through everything that I was going through, what was wrong, what was hurting, why she thought it was hurting and everything. She basically gave me the diagnosis of having something called AS, which is an abbreviation of the thing because I'm not going to be able to say it because I can barely speak English. But there, she gave me homework to go and look at everything and read up on it. But honestly, I was scared because what she said would happen with that condition is that my back would seize up and I would have very limited use in my back in the future. And honestly, that was really, really terrifying. And quite frankly, if I'm going to be told something like that, I'd prefer be told straight to my face rather than reading it at home and completely scaring myself out of my brain and worrying myself sick about it. So I then went back a week later and she'd printed off a load of exercises for me to be getting on with at home. I had quite a few of them I needed to do. I needed to do breathing every day. I needed to two breathing exercises every day. I needed to do flexibility every day. I needed to do mobility every day. 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise, which is just walking or sitting on a static bike, which I actually have, for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. And then I needed to do strengthening exercises for once every 48 hours. And the only thing that I needed to get for that in terms of equipment was a gigantic exercise ball, and I absolutely love it. It does take up a heck of a lot of room, but I do really enjoy working and sitting on the bike. No, sitting on the ball. And between Christmas and New Year, I'm going to be showing you all those exercises that I do because I think that it would be really interesting for you guys to watch, and I hope you do find it interesting. So after I'd had those, it was then time in between going to the third physiotherapy appointment of having my MRI. That was scary for me. Although I'd had one, either that or a CT scan when I was quite young, it was still a bit unnerving to know that I was going to be going through with something that it's just an uncomfortable situation for me, to be honest. So I went there, I was told to remove, well, I basically did remove all my jewellery because I was going into a gigantic magnet. And I made sure to wear everything with as little metal as possible. However, I did forget my jeans, which had metal on them, so I had to change into them. But they did warn me about that. They said bring a dressing gown if you want to, although other options are available there, I believe. So I actually didn't have to wait too long before going in, and they actually, at the hospital, they allowed me to bring my own music in, which is really good because I was originally told that I was going to be in there for 20 minutes, which is fine because it then means that I don't need to worry about too much about needing to go to the toilet during the thing or just all out freaking out about it, even though it was completely fine. It wasn't scary at all. But then it turned out I was actually being in there for 40 minutes, which was a bit more unnerving. But because I had my own music, I just lost myself in that, and honestly the time went through like that. So actually after the second physiotherapy appointment, I didn't really need to go back. She said you don't need to if you don't want to, but honestly I did want to because I wanted to make sure that my posture was correct, I was doing the exercise correctly, because obviously I don't have anyone at home who is medically trained to be able to tell me that I am doing something right or I'm doing it wrong, and I just wanted to double check everything. And actually she was able to find the MRI results there and then at the third physiotherapy appointment, and she said that there was nothing completely abnormal, which was excellent. So she made sure that I was doing all of the exercises correctly, and then she basically sent me on my way saying, look, what's going on with you isn't going to fix straight away, so if you need to come back and want to double check that everything's okay, just give us a ring and I will keep you on my books till the 15th of November. If you have any issues, you can call back and come back, but otherwise if I don't hear from you, I'll just take you off and I'll presume that you're doing everything fine, which I think I am. So actually moving on to me talking through how I found the exercises at home, I did find them okay. It's hard fitting them all in. I actually have to spread them out throughout the day because otherwise I would be doing everything for 2 hours straight, and I don't really know how to fit it in. But I do the breathing exercises in the morning. I do 30 minutes of bike at about 3:30, and then I do the flexibility after the bike, and then the mobility when my mum gets home, because then she goes on the bike as well and we're both exercising, which is good. So some were definitely harder than others. Some I could just do without question at all, and I'm slowly building my strength up on them. But then there is one particular one that I just cannot do for love nor money, so I literally do it for 10 seconds because I have to push up with my chest, which is still the number one problem, so I have to be very careful with it and just, you know, take my time. I was told to take it easy with them and to see what I could and couldn't do and how many to do and everything like that. It's just they've given me a basic baseline and I've got to decide what I can and can't do from there. But I was told that I could have flare-ups, which is essentially my pain skyrockets while doing these exercises. And it's not because of the exercises, it's just with what's going on with my body, I could have reactions to it, which was kind of scary because it meant that I didn't know if I did have one, what I could and couldn't do, and honestly I just didn't want to think about being in pain anymore, seeing as the exercises are supposed to help prevent that from happening. So after the MRI, you're supposed to wait a minimum of 3 weeks to make sure that the scan gets to your doctor and so that they have time to review it. So I then waited a couple more weeks after that 3-week deadline, hoping that I would hear from my doctor as to a follow-up appointment with him, but I didn't hear anything. So waiting those couple of weeks, I actually had a massive flare up with my back, and I couldn't move. I couldn't sit how I'm sitting in front of you now for a minimum of a week. It was horrible. It really, really hurt, and nothing was touching the pain whatsoever. I just had to literally lay in bed on my side for a week, if not 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks overall, and just prayed that it would get better. In the meantime, my sister, who has problems with her back as well and has for many years had problems, had a cortisone injection which seemed to really, and I don't know the mechanics of it all, but it really, really helped get rid of that pain for her. So the next day I spoke to my mum and she suggested that I basically write to my doctor and tell him what's happening, and I put forward that my sister had the cortisone and would that help me, or does he know of anything that can help get rid of this pain that I'm in 24/7 and just can't shift? So we sent that letter off, and actually about a week later he called me up on my mobile and was talking through to me the results, and again he basically told me what the physiotherapist has said, that there was nothing abnormally wrong with my back other than the fact that my 4th and 5th vertebrae are bulging slightly, which he thinks is what caused my severe flare up with my back. So with that, he said to just keep an eye on it, don't do anything out of the ordinary with it, and be mindful of the fact that it is there, but doing strengthening exercises as I would be with the AS exercises that I've been given would really, really help with that anyway. So it was just purely strengthening it up will fix that problem. So the good things that came out of the phone call with him is that, one, that I do not have the AS, so my back isn't going to seize up, again, touch wood, which means that my back's no longer a problem, other than, as I said, being mindful of the 4th and 5th vertebrae and just building up the strength on that. But also that I do have the, which I will write here for you because I still can't pronounce it properly, but the costronditis with my chest is confirmed. That is officially what I have. And he basically gave me 2 options with the course of action with that. I could either have a steroid injection, which would just go into the specific cartilage in my chest, or I could have an injection that he gives me in my arm that would go through every joint in my body and make sure everything's okay. And he asked me what I wanted to do, and honestly I had no idea, so I just said to him, look, I kind of need your advice on this, can you tell me? And he said, well, start with one, if one doesn't work we'll go on to the other one. So I'm going to start with the steroid injection into my chest, which I am dreading if I'm honest, but it needs to be done and hopefully that'll take the pain away. If that doesn't, I will have the one in my arm, and again hopefully that will fix it. So I've got 2 courses of action, which compared to none is brilliant. So now what I need to do is keep building up the strength in my back. So even though I don't have the AS, honestly, I'm just going to keep up with those exercises because I don't think they're doing me any harm. They're doing me really, really good, and my body does notice if I don't do them. So I'm going to pick up all those exercises again and do them. I need to manage the pain both in my chest and my back anyway, because they're still happening regardless of me having this steroid injection. And I'm waiting for his referral letter for me for the appointment to have my steroid injection. So as soon as I get that referral through and have the appointment for my steroid injection, I will come back on and let you guys know how I'm getting on. But until then, that is it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description, as I love them all and wouldn't put them there if I didn't. And finally, don't forget to like, leave a nice comment and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time. Bye!